You know, I don't usually thirst over skinny twink men, but I might just have to make an exception. Just a little. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about Hazbin Hotel. Yes. This is a show I never ever thought that I would be into, and yet here we are today doing my makeup at 8 p.m. because I need to get them out. I need to get it out. I need to get all the brain worms out. Anyway, as you can see, I'm very fresh-faced. Fresh? I don't know about fresh, maybe barefaced. I'm barefaced, and that's because we're going to be doing our makeup. I thought I was going to do my makeup before this video, and just have it be a regular sit-down video like my usual ones, but I got carried away. Who knew one had to do homework? Who knew? So I finally got a little setup at my desk going. So if I look over here, it's because my notes are right here, and also my mirror in which I will be doing my makeup is at. So let's jump into it. I should probably leave a little disclaimer. Yes, we are going to be talking about some criticisms and some controversies of the show. Trigger warning in case you don't know about Hazbin Hotel for sexual assaults and things like that. But for the most part, I'm not going to be diving too deep into those. I'm simply just going to be talking about them. I have a lot of things I like about the show, a lot of things that could be better about the show. So let's be calm in the comments, all right? Make sure to like and subscribe, but also be calm in the comments. Okay, cool? We're good? You and I see each other. We see each other. Let's jump into it. Now, I'm so sorry to my friend who told me to get into this like months and months ago. And I just never did, because I was like, I heard a bunch of stuff about like the controversies, which by the way, I don't know what is true and what's not true. I know a lot of people tend to make things up. That does not mean that there are no controversies, because I saw that somewhere. People were just like, there are no controversies, like VisiPub did nothing wrong, like be calm. Okay, that's not true, but also at the same time, because the internet is the internet, people will just make shit up all the time. So that's also another reason why I will be glazing over that stuff today. But let's start with the stuff I did like, okay? Let's start there, okay? Because your girl, I meant what I said in that intro. Okay, I've been a little thirsty as of late. Let's just say that. Anyway, let's start with the music. So I think one of the biggest like highlights, I love how I say I'm going to use my mirror and I'm using the viewfinder. Anyway, one of the biggest highlights I think of the show is definitely its music. If not the highlight of the show is the music. Like if there's any reason I'm going to tell you to watch the show, if you like musicals, you should watch the show. If you like things like Tangled, the animated series, or really Tangled, the animated series, you know, any animated series that has like musical numbers in them, this thing is struggling for dear life. I would absolutely say that you should watch this show because of that. It is the thing that drew me in, especially because Jeremy Jordan. I'm gonna say my favorite is Jeremy Jordan. He's one of my favorite like voice actors, musical talents, Broadway talents of like all time, and just so him as Lucifer, oh, I don't know where y'all got the budget for that, but y'all did that. So quite obviously, my favorite song is More Than Anything. Very obviously, or maybe not so obvious, but very obviously, my favorite song is More Than Anything. I think that song, oh, it was so good. And now do I think, and I'll talk about this more in the criticisms, do I think that we should have had a little bit more time with Charlie and Lucifer as like characters who like miss each other and like are reconnecting? I should probably zoom in. Let's zoom in. Do I think that they should have had a little bit more, you know, time to connect with each other? Yes, but I don't think that's like the production's fault. I think that's the producer's fault. You know, Amazon Prime for only giving them like 8 episodes. They definitely needed like 16, because speaking of music, 2 songs an episode, roughly, way too much. way too much. Like, look, we got the bangers of Poison and Loser Baby in 1 episode, yes, but that was like way too much. Okay, I'm sorry if my makeup is a little bit shitty. It's 8 p.m. 5 p.m? It's 6 p.m. It's 6:45 p.m. on a Monday. I don't need to be doing my makeup right now, so no questions. I'll talk about this another time when I talk about Hell of a Boss, because that'll be the next video I do. Oh, by the way, I'm doing this, if this is your first time to my channel, hi, hello, how are you? Stick around, but also I'm doing this in between videos, my Sonic videos that are really long and really big, and they take a lot to do. So, but I really wanted to talk about Hazbin Hotel, especially while everybody's talking about it. So I'm doing this in between then, which is why this is such a weird time. I usually record during the day. So if you are new here, hi, hello. I hope you stay, but also I hope you check out my other videos as well. But anyway, back to the music though. So yes, the music. If you don't like musicals, I don't know what to tell you. This is not the show for you, okay? It's not the show for you. However, if you like musical, like if you like musicals or you wanted to get into musicals and you're kind of afraid, this is definitely like baby's first musical. I'd give it to you. Like if you watch Disney, because this is very much so like a raunchy Disney, right? This is what this is supposed to be. Like Charlie sounds like a Disney princess. She acts like a Disney princess, right? She has the naivete. She has the naivete of a Disney princess, and it very much so shows. I don't know why. I'm not doing full coverage, and yet here I am. And obviously that shows in the music and the line delivery as well, which the line delivery and Ready for This, like the last song, like that, I understand why a lot of people, the second to last song, I understand why people think that like as one of the best songs, if not the best song. This is what I do. We don't waste product on here, so this is what I do to make sure that all the product gets on my face. Anyway, this is way too late. Y'all tell? Yeah, y'all can tell. Okay, let me do one more pump of my... This is what happens when your shade is not the exact shade. But anyway, her line delivery. That's a little better, I guess. I don't know. We'll fix it. Fix it later. Oh my god, that is so bright light. We'll fix it later. Anyway, you can tell in her line delivery, especially like... It's the part of the song, I'll try to play it. She's convincing, the cannibals to, like, help her out. And they're like, oh, so that means we can, like, eat people. Like, I think the line goes, wouldn't you like to see more of hell? And then the other person is like, oh my god, so yeah, so we can eat more people, right? And she's like, that's a little much. Can we tone it down? Her line delivery of that.
Well, that's a little violent. Can we tone it down?
Oh, her line delivery of that specific line sold me on the whole song. Okay. On camera, it actually looks fine. I think I'm being color corrected on camera. Shout out to the camera, And now, I know also a lot of people are talking about the corniness of the actual show itself because of the musical. Again, if you don't like musicals, a lot of people find musicals very corny, okay? And if you do, I'm sorry, you hate fun. I'm sorry you do. If that's your reason for hating the show, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, there are some pretty valid reasons to not like this show, okay? But if musicals is one of those reasons, babe, maybe you just don't like fun. maybe you just don't like fun. Okay, but second favorite song is Poison. Poison? Yeah, Poison. And then third favorite, Loser Baby. Fourth favorite, we're not doing a ranking, but like I'd have to actually look at the list again, but like those are my like top 3-ish. Yeah, top 3 songs. Okay, so next thing that I really liked about the show is definitely the lore. I feel like this is definitely like someone thought this out for like a long period of time. This is definitely something like someone is like, I know everything about this world, do not worry, I know literally everything, and if I don't, like, I can make it up on the spot. So far there's been some like logical inconsistencies with the show, specifically between the pilot and the between the... Can I zoom in? Look at him. Between the pilot and the actual show coming out, and to that I say, I did not watch the pilot. I didn't know the pilot I mean, I knew the pilot existed as a thing. I didn't think it would have that much bearing, because usually pilots, as it goes from pilot to first episode, there's usually not that much change between them. If you ever like seen like the Gravity Falls pilot versus the Gravity Falls first episode, they're usually like roughly the same. Like the plot is the same, usually the beats are the same, and it's most of the time just... I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't need to do my eyebrows. This is for funsies. You know where I'm going after this? The gym. I'm going to the gym. Like, babes. Anyway, but apparently, according to like a bunch of videos that I watched about the differences between the pilot and the like logical plot inconsistencies between them, that is where a lot of them came from, because you established a lot of stuff in the pilot that is still canon to the first episode and the season of the show, but like doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, considering that it's different now, which is interesting, because usually just the first episode, the pilots aren't usually canon to the first episodes, because usually the pilots are the first episodes. Apparently like characters knowing each other, not knowing each other, being introduced was like done in the first like pilot and not in the first episode, which like definitely feels like disjointed. It definitely feels like you're kind of missing something. Also, apparently one of the big differences between the pilot and the first episode is the reason for the extermination day. I think in the pilot they talk about it being for overpopulation in hell, which is kind of the leading reason for Charlie to want to have Hazbin Hotel, because if you save all of these sinners and they go to hell, then you'll have less people in hell, right? So the whole redeeming thing makes a lot more sense. And they kind of touch on it in the first episode. She says that like to Adam, she says that like, hey, I know you're having like a population issue, or like there's a crowding issue, whatever, but that's not explicitly told in the beginning, like little thing that they have at the beginning, the like first 2 minutes of the show, it is said basically that so hell couldn't rise up against heaven. That is why the extermination day happens, which is like, she's not supposed to know that. It's supposed to be the twist later on of that, but that was changed for here, and people are arguing whether or not that was a good change in the first episode, which like we'll get to in my criticisms. But I really do like the lore. It does seem like somebody at least has it figured out somewhere, even if it's not shown directly. It's figured out somewhere. Now, again, criticism, is there like, should you have to rely on outside sources to understand what the fuck is going on in your show? No. However, you can have that as supplemental material to really keep the fandom strong. Which brings me into my next point, which is the character designs, which are the most strongest point of the show. Other than the music, the character designs are absolutely the strongest point of the show. Now, if I was doing like a critical analysis of like the fandom, this is where I would go into vivid detail about how why the fandom is mostly small children, even though this is an adult show and it's mostly children. Because like, look at South Park, and it's not just because it's animated. I like, yes, animation has to do with it, because people still to this day think that like all animation is for children. No, but like when I was growing up, I was also watching like Rick and Morty and fucking Family Guy, American Dad, and South Park, and I definitely should not have been. Happy Tree Friends. Y'all remember Happy Tree Friends. And also little to no supervision on the internet as well. And like that stuff like largely falls on parents, but like I got lucky in the sense that like my parents taught me, like I knew that like what I was watching I was not supposed to be watching. There was this like, there's literally this viral tweet going around about how like a person caught like their, I think it was like younger sibling or somebody's child like about to watch like Poison, like, and like obviously children should not be singing along to Poison, a song about SA. Like, no, they should not be singing about that. But like, and yet they probably don't know that it's bad. They probably just think of it as a cool song, and the parents are either don't know or don't care, or sometimes both. And I can get into that all day long. But in terms of like character designs, let's go back to character designs. That is part of the reason why this show is so big, because the character designs are so strong. Like the shape language and the characters are so strong. If you did like a Who's That Pokemon silhouette of like all the characters, you'd be able to tell who all the characters are. Despite them all being skinny twinks, you'd be able to tell who all the characters are. Same with the color palettes, like all being pretty like samey, you still have so much diversity within that like color palette for each character. It's good. It's good. It's really good. I'm sorry I fell for the fucking radio demon. I did. I really did. I need him expeditiously. I do. And like Lucifer, you just want to pinch his fucking cheeks. Oh my god. It just, y'all, I'm gonna show some snippets of like, I'm outing myself here, but I need y'all to see this thing I posted, I sent to my friend. I need y'all to see it. Just know that this is not me, okay? It's not always me. Yeah, but something that always makes a fandom super duper strong is always going to be if they have strong character designs. Strong character moments and things like that. Like think about like not even just animated shows, but like live action shows as well. Trust the process. I know you see this, trust the process. In live action shows like Supernatural, for example, had a huge fandom, still does to this day. And it's because the characters are so strong. Like more than anything else, like fuck the plot. You know, y'all know the plot towards the end got like insane and doesn't make a lick of fucking sense and it's kind of bad. But what keeps the show going and what keeps it popular and still to this day has them going on Comic-Con fucking tours is the fact that the characters are so strong. People are there to see Sam and Dean and Castiel. Like, they're there to see Crowley. They're there to see all the, like, characters. They're not, like, the plot has no bearance on anything. The plot is a nice side effect, which I feel like is why this show has so much, which is why I feel like the show has so much potential, because the characters are so strong that you want to see what happens to them. Why I think I like personally Hell of a Boss more than I like Hazbin Hotel, which I'll talk about in the next video, is because I like the characters so much. Like I feel like the characters are a lot stronger because we had more time to like do stuff with them, that I don't really care that there's not really an overarching plot right now. Like I expect there to be eventually, hopefully, maybe, but like right now that there's not an overarching plot, I'm not like mad about that, you know? Eventually it'll get tiring, but for right now, like Adventure Time style, like the characters were so strong, the character designs and the wacky adventures they went on were so strong that by the time we got to the overarching plot, babe, I was hooked. I was hooked in because I cared about the characters. And that's what I feel like Hazbin Hotel like needs to do a little bit more of, because you have these strong characters, you have these really appealing characters. Let me see more of them. Let me see like more about them. The fact that I heard that Vizzy doesn't have like human designs for them, even though we're supposed to be like exploring them and how they came to be in hell and at the Hazbin Hotel anyway. Like, why do they need to be redeemed? I don't know anything about these people aside from like their personalities. I don't know anything about their backstories or anything like that, and it would be really nice to see them get more character stuff, like background character stuff, so I can root for them being redeemed. Like, I want them to be redeemed because that's the plot of the show, right? But like, really, why do I want them to be redeemed? Why would I want like Alistair or Husk or somebody to be redeemed? Why? Right now there's not really a reason, but you have these strong characters that everybody loves, so give the people what they want. Does that look right? Okay. With that all being said, let's talk about the things that I have of critiques for the show. Okay, if you're this deep into the video, we got some critiques. Okay, we do. So as it stands for me, especially after watching Hell of a Boss, despite the fact that it has no overarching plot, feels like the main thing, and Hazbin Hotel feels like the side spin-off that eventually got its own show. Like, at least for me, and it might just be because the characters in the world feel a lot more fleshed out in Hell of a Boss than Hazbin Hotel, and that is mostly because the fact that they only have 8 episodes. They only have 8 episodes, which I know is not anybody who's like making the show's fault. They were probably told by Amazon, hey, you got 8 episodes, do what you need to do with it. And like I have said before in many videos in the past, like, it is understandable that you want to try and tell a full story because you don't know if you're getting a second season. Now, the last time I checked, they are getting a second season, but still, it is like paramount that you tell a complete story just in case you're not. You know, you don't get to do that. Unfortunately, I think to the detriment of the show, in trying to do that, you've ended up kind of rushing a lot of stuff, and we're just plot point after plot point after plot point, and it was like, whoa, can we slow down? Can we slow down? Like, it even talks about it in the show, and I think the creators did know as well, because the big jump between like Charlie in the beginning being like pleading her case to heaven, and then heaven being like no, and then jumping to her father being like, help me plead my case to heaven, and he's like no, and then in the same episode he's like, okay, sure, and then the very next day her going to like heaven to like plead her case, and then the very next day that not working out, so then they have to go back, and then the war starting. Like, all that happens in the span of like a couple episodes, and we're supposed to also understand that it takes place over the course of like months. Like, it's a 6-month span. By the time she gets to heaven, there's 1 month left before the extermination happens. Whoa, bro, it feels like it's been a week. Literally, it feels like a week. Okay, there's no indication within the episodes that there is a passage of time. I would have wished, if that's how we're gonna do it, you know, there was more of a passage of time there. Yeah, I feel like that's something that could be easily solved if you just get more episodes, or at least now that you've kind of proven yourself to be the self-sufficient show, that hopefully, if they still have to get 8 episodes the next season, hopefully we can slow down and maybe zoom in on like maybe some characters or some specific problems within Hell. Because now the big thing is kind of done, at least for now. We can focus more on like side characters and actually redeeming these characters, and what does that mean in case of the hotel, and how do we get there, like actually going there, because it was just a mystery the whole time. Nobody knew who gets redeemed how. That is something, clearly the next mystery that like needs to be solved. Okay, everybody in this universe pretty much has like pink/purple eyeshadow, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do like hot pink fucking eyeshadow, which I never do, but like now is the time to, you know, experiment. Okay, so the next thing that I have on here, oh yeah, so character designs as both a strength and a weakness of the show. So character designs are definitely the reason why the show is as popular as it is, which has of course caused a lot of controversy with the characters designs themselves. The fact that there is like no diversity in body types, which like, when it comes to non-human characters, I usually don't care as much. When it's human characters, I care a lot more. Same with the whole, like, we'll get to that. Hold on. I usually don't care if it's, like, non-human characters, because they're non-human. The fact that they are supposed to have been once human does make it, like, a little bit, like, and you do see a little bit more shape language in Hell of a Boss, at least, but like it's very cartoony and it's heavily stylized, so I'm not like the most like, oh my god, like this is the reason to cancel the show or anything. Like, again, there's so many reasons that if you want to dislike the show, I would not be mad at you, but like also this is kind of like, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. I don't think so. I don't think so. Speaking of character designs though, the thing that might break a couple people's backs might be the fact that like the representation in this show. So obviously no one is really human in the show, right? Like they used to be human, but they're not human anymore, which, you know, means that some people from all over the world can be in the show, aka no one knows who is supposed to be what race. And this again wouldn't matter because they're all not human, except they used to be human, and some of the characters have like cultural roots. Like, I don't know why I'm trying to step around this. Specifically Alistair. Alistair is supposed to be Creole. How would you know that? How would you know that? Also, he's using hoodoo/voodoo, which just do your research on. The fact that, like, my thing is that hoodoo/voodoo, and I'm gonna say this really briefly and really broadly, I am not the say-all, be-all, end-all of this, but hoodoo/voodoo is more of a neutral entity, like magic is, and that people can use for bad or good. Take, like, the Princess and the Frog, for example. Dr. Facilier, he uses hoodoo for evil, right? But Mama, I forgot her name, uses it for good, right? That's the whole point. It's like, I'm not saying Princess and the Frog is the be all end all of that either, but if you're gonna use it in like your show, movie, whatever, you should use it the same way you would use like traditional magic, like you would use medieval magic. If you're gonna use it, you should use it in that same way, if that makes sense. Like, it should be a neutral entity, meaning that angels should also be able to use hoodoo/voodoo if they come from that same place, because in not doing that, you're insinuating that is only used by demons and evil people. You see the issue there? You see the issue there? It's I feel like it's an easy fix. I feel like something like that is an easy fix. But also, if you just aren't willing to do the research on it, then don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Anyway, so the comedy of this show. Definitely, again, another reason why I love Hell of a Boss more than I like Hazbin Hotel, at least right now, is because of the comedy. I feel like Hell of a Boss definitely has more, like, actual jokes in it, where this is just kind of like, the raunchiness is the joke, and the way the characters interact with each other sometimes is funny, but like there are no jokes in the show, and I feel like that could also be for a sake of like time, like they just literally ran out of time to do that. I do hope again next semester I do hope that next season they're able to bring that in, because if the same thing happens next season, you can only use the excuse of, well, they only had 8 episodes for so long, so it's kind of like a blanket like thing to cover over a lot of the critiques of the show for now. That does not mean that it's not worthy of those critiques. It just means that there is room for growth, all right? And that's how I feel about all of these critiques, like, is that there is room for growth. Speaking of, let's get to the last like critique I have, which is, of course, the thing with Angel. So for those of you who are watching this and haven't watched the show, Angel is a character who is a sex worker and specifically sold their soul to pretty much a pimp. That's pretty much what it is. He's a pimp. His name is Val, and he treats him very badly, like very, it's abuse. It's straight up abuse. It's sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, literally all of it. And he has 2 songs during this episode, Angel does, talking about pretty much how he's like feels stuck in this rut and how he's pretty much like dying, in this like hell that he's in, and he feels like, specifically, importantly, he feels like he has put himself there. And then he talks to another person, Husker, who has also sold his soul to Alistair, specifically because he was in some gambling like addiction debt, and to save himself he sold his soul to Alistair. Alistair, no one knows what Alistair is going to use that for. It's obviously like he got some nefarious purposes going on, but nothing really bad has happened to Husker yet, and that is important as we talk about Loser Baby. So for Poison specifically, before we get to that, for Poison, some people are saying that they don't really like the way it displays kind of like, not fetishization, but I guess glorification of both sex work and then also like sexual abuse and stuff like that. And to that, I feel that specifically is very, very subjective, because a lot of people have come out who are SA survivors and who are not SA survivors. People who are SA survivors have been saying some of them really like the depiction of this whole entire episode. Some of them do not. So I need you to understand that this is a very subjective thing. However, Twitter likes to make it not be that, because the way in which something is portrayed on screen, unless it is simply like glorifying and fetishizing, when it's absolutely not. Like the whole scene leading up to that moment is very much so like quiet. There's barely any music playing. Like it is very much supposed to be like, oh shit, like this is a very serious scene. There's warnings at the beginning of the episode and everything. That part of the episode is not, you know, like fetishizing or glorifying or anything like that. I've heard some other things about people who've worked on the show. This is not that type of video, unfortunately. There are plenty of people who have talked about it, so all you need to do is look it up if you really want to know. But because I don't know the full story about that, and I don't want to get up on here and talk about shit I don't know anything about. This is not who I am. Like, that doesn't mean like I'm ignoring it. That just means that like I feel like there are better people better suited to talk about it, and that is not me. But as for the song itself, The Poison, I think that it is pretty much a depiction, or it is a depiction of how Angel is coping with it, and how like the front that he puts up to cope with it, and how it's not working for long. So whether or not you feel like the song should have been catchy or not, or if there should have been a song at all, that is the part that is like up to interpretation and up to subjectiveness. However, treating the severity of what is happening with the severity it deserves is the point of that. However, you could argue about the fact that it's catchy and how like children end up singing it, because if they find it and they don't know what the fuck it's about because they're children, you know, they may end up singing it and not know that it's like actually like a really serious thing because it's a catchy pop song and it sounds really cool and fun to sing and stuff like that, which it is. So that is all like a back and forth that could be had. That does not mean that this depiction is bad or like glorifying that. Now, Loser Baby, on the other hand, I gotta do this. How many hearts does he have? Are these even hearts? They better be hearts. They're not hearts. They're like freckles, but I'm making them hearts today because I already started. Okay. Anyway, Loser Baby is a song that I feel like has a lot more of like a standing on like criticism, because it is very hard to know what exactly the song is supposed to be. Like, is it supposed to be Husker telling him like, yeah, it is your fault for getting in this contract? Like, because again, we don't know any of the backstory of how or why Angel ended up in this contract. Not that it matters, because you still, regardless if you're like Husker, who just did it because he was gambling and like that was his own fault, like that is truly his own fault. But with Angel, we don't know the circumstances of him getting into that contract. Not that it would matter, because again, you don't deserve sexual abuse if that, like, just because you got into that fucking contract. But like the way that Husker is treating it, it feels like we're kind of missing something. It's like like, is that what the song is supposed to be? Is it supposed to be Husker saying, hey, you put yourself into this situation just like I put myself into this situation, and therefore, you know, no, well, we're losers for that? Because if that is what the song is supposed to be, then yeah, the criticism is warranted of like, huh? Like, wait a minute, that seems kind of like victim blamey in the sense, like, if you're saying that, like, that is what the song is saying. However, another interpretation of the song is the coping mechanisms, which I like to think that's what it's. I'm giving the more charitable interpretation here, which is it's about the coping mechanisms that you are going through, feeling like a loser specifically, and, you know, trying to tell you like, hey, you're not alone, so you don't have to do all these crazy stuff. Like, you may feel like a loser, but like, hey, we can be quote unquote losers together and like through this together, basically. So depending, I feel like, on what the interpretation of the song was supposed to be, I can understand why people would feel like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one, Chief, because if that was the first one is the interpretation of the song we're supposed to have, I realize y'all can't see this, then it is very problematic that that is what that is supposed to be. However, if the interpretation of the song is like, I'm here for you, like, we can like drown in the bottle together, pretty much, like, yeah, that doesn't mean it's necessarily healthy, but like, they could do that together, like help each other out, is like, I feel like, what is the point of that? And that's the charitable interpretation that I'm giving it. So overall, I feel like a lot of people's criticisms on why they don't like that aspect of the show is probably because we just don't know that much about Angel. And I feel like, given like a little bit more context, a little bit more time as well to really see the destructive behavior and things like that, Loser Baby would feel a little bit more personable. It would feel like a little bit more like, oh, because maybe to see Husker try over the course of multiple episodes to reach out to Angel, and Angel like swatting his hand away, because he does it once in this episode pretty much, and like Husker is like, what the fuck, dude? And then that's when Husker like goes after Angel and the whole thing happens. But if it was like over the course of multiple episodes, Husker is trying to reach out to Angel in good faith, and not just because Charlie told him to, then it would feel a little bit more like, okay, like, Husker clearly sees that you're going through something very similar to what he's going through, so that's where the help comes in. Anyway, I think it's fine. Obviously, I'm not the be-all, end-all say-so of everything, and like I said, there are people who have been through SA who have said this is a great depiction, and they love that it's shown in this light, whether that's comedic or fun and enjoyable, whatever, because they feel like their lives haven't been fun and enjoyable since the things that have happened to you, versus people who maybe are still maybe fresh off the womb, like coming through that. Like, some people don't like coping by humor, coping with fun or humor and stuff like that. That's not for everybody. That doesn't mean that one person is correct and one person isn't correct. That just means that this might be for you and it might not be for you, you know? Like, there is no wrong or right way to do it. The problem becomes when you say, like, this is the only way. When you start saying that, like, this is the only way to cope with stuff like that. If somebody was like, this is the best depiction ever and this is the right way that everybody should do it, that's when we would start to have a problem. Because obviously not everyone copes in that manner, and saying that you should is bad. Or saying that that is the only way is bad. This is not... No, it's not even... Whatever. I don't care. We have to finish this up. Anyway, that's probably like the biggest like criticism of the show right now in terms of its actual plot and things that like happen within it. There are smaller things to criticize, like specifically a lot of side characters getting shafted and not really getting, like Angel, any like time to really talk about their issues before they're like thrusted into a song. Again, 2 songs an episode is kind of a lot, but I understand they need to do it, and the writing is definitely plot focused more than it is anything else. So if the characters need to be somewhere for the plot, even if it doesn't really make sense for them, sometimes they'll be there and it's like, okay, how did we get here? Can we talk about it? Like, how did we get here? No one wants to talk about it. That does not look like a heart. Oh my god. You know what? It's gonna be a heart today, okay? I think that's it. So regardless of the criticisms, the goods, the bads, and everything else, why am I holding this like a microphone? I think that this show has the potential to go places. Like I said, I originally didn't really care for the show, but you know, the internet has its ways. And when the internet has its ways, well, girl, now you're gonna doing your makeup like fucking Angel does on fucking YouTube. That's what happens. Anyway, I like this show. I like this show a lot. I love a lot of the characters, and I'm really hoping to see a lot of them soon. I didn't even talk about the V's. The V's, aside from like Val, don't really have anything going on. They're just there to be antagonistic, and I feel like we need a little bit more from them. Hold on, I need to finish this look. I can't wait to find out more about Alistair. He is... Yeah, and don't worry if you're thinking I'm a little crazy right now. Just wait till you see I start talking about Hell of a Boss. Just wait. Just fucking wait. Anyway, this is the look. I don't even know if you can fucking see. Hold on. Oh, this is the look. I did it based off Angel. Sorry if the hearts look kind of crusty. Girl, I'm literally about to maybe possibly go work out. Maybe possibly. Is that better? Oh, that is better. You can see the look better. Okay. There you go. There's the look. There's the fucking look. I didn't do my eyebrows. I was gonna do like my hair like up like this. It kind of already is. Just hold on. There we go. Where the fuck? Hold on. There we go. And then I have like hair back here. Yeah, that's actually so cute. Okay, yes. Time to go to the gym and everyone's gonna be looking at me like, girl, what the fuck? Anyway, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you did, you are a real one. Let me know how you guys feel about Hell of a Boss down below. If you like it, Hell of a Boss, Hazbin Hotel. You see how badly I want to talk about Hell of a Boss. Anyway, I'm sure I've missed some stuff. Let me know down in the comments below. We can have a polite conversation about this show. Please, let's keep it cute. Keep it polite. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Love and peace.